Hi Booklovers, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be an announcement video. If you have seen the title, you can probably guess what the announcement is for. Me and my friend Lisa, one of my best friends, Lisa from Remarkably Lisa, we are hosting another round of Lunar New Year Readathon. We started this last year, so this is going to be our second time doing it, our second year. This readathon is happening every Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year. Last year, so it was late January. If you know anything about Chinese zodiacs, 2021 is the year of the ox. If you want to check out what zodiac you are, I'll leave a link down below. It's based off the year you were born. This readathon is for us to celebrate all the Asian romance authors. You don't have to necessarily read romance, but that's just what me and Lisa are gonna do. But yes, we do want to celebrate Asian romances, Asian romance authors, so that's what we're gonna be doing this weekend. This weekend-long readathon, it's happening from February 12th through the 14th because the Lunar New Year is on February 12th this year. We are announcing this a little bit later than we wanted to. We are only a week away from the start of the readathon. You can read as many or as little romances by Asian authors or romances with Asian main characters in them. We do have some prompts this year to help guide you to finding whatever books you want to read. It's not long because we do only have 3 days for this readathon, but there is a new to you author, a release from 2019 through 2021, a book that's been recommended to you, and a book with a red on the cover. We also included a little bonus to this checklist. It's not reading anything, but actually watching To All the Boys, Always and Forever on Netflix because it's out on Valentine's Day, the Sunday during the readathon. With these prompts, you can of course combine them in any way you want for like a certain book or multiple books, but those are our prompts. We are going to have some templates for you guys on our Instagrams, so make sure you check out our stories because we're going to be posting them there. We are also going to be doing a live show just to chat about everything that we read and also talk about To All the Boys, Always and Forever. So this is happening on Monday, the Monday after the readathon, just so we can give people some time to watch the movie. It's happening Monday, February 15th, my channel, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST. I will be sharing a bunch of recommendations in this video as well, but I do want to mention that last year I made this gigantic blog post for the readathon last year with a list of all the Asian romance authors that I could find, plus a lot of romances by non-Asian authors who have Asian main characters in them. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it down below. I also still do need to update it, especially with a lot of authors from last year. I do actually have my TBR picked out already, but I do want to share some recommendations first. I have recommendations based on the prompts that we made and also some author recommendations that you guys should check out. For the recommended to you prompt, I have 3 books that actually fit also for the red on the cover, and one of them also fits for the recent release. First is Beguiling the Beauty by Sherry Thomas. I have been slowly making my way through Sherry Thomas and her historicals, and this one so far is my favorite. Beguiling the Beauty is the first book in the Fitzhugh trilogy. It's got the secret identity trope. The heroine wants revenge against the hero. It's super angsty, it's so good. It's really great in audio as well. For a paranormal, I'm recommending Nalini Singh, my favorite, and Silver Silence because it's got red on the cover, and also it's the first book in like the spin-off series of the Side Changelings, so you could read it as a standalone. It's got bear shifters, and I just love the bear shifters so much. It is such a wonderful romance, such a wonderful paranormal romance with a hero who is very determined to win the heroine's heart. The other recommendation that also fits for the release in 2020 and also red on the cover is The Duke Who Didn't by Courtney Milan. This is another historical romance recommendation. It's a light and fluffy, foodie historical romance with a hero who is a duke. He's a secret duke, and all he wants to do is get his childhood love to marry him. It's very light and fluffy, just such a fun read. For the release from 2019 to 2021, I have the whole Modern Love series by Alisha. Book 1 is The Right Swipe. This one released in 2019. Book 2 is Girl Gone Viral, which released in 2020. And then this one, I have the arc of it. It is the third book, First Comes Like. It's out this year, 2021. I haven't read this one just yet, but I'm just including it anyway. These are all about the struggles of dating and dating apps. My favorite so far has been book 2, Girl Gone Viral, which is a bodyguard romance. The heroine here goes viral on Twitter and she needs to get away from all the mess. So the heroine goes with her bodyguard, who she's been crushing over, to his family's home to get away from it all. I'm also recommending House Rules by Ruby Lang. This is book 3 in the Uptown series, but reads totally fine as a standalone. I read this one last year and enjoyed it so much. It is a second chance romance, which is why I read it, because it is my favorite trope. We have an ex-husband and an ex-wife having to room together again after a decade being apart. The heroine is also a chef. There is lots of great forced proximity. It's so great. For the read on the cover prompt, I kind of already covered this, but I do have a couple other ones that I haven't read just yet. I do have another read Sherry Thomas book, another historical romance from her. This one is Not Quite a Husband. It's a marriage of convenience romance. And The Beast of Beswick by Amalie Howard, which is a Beauty and the Beast historical romance. I do also want to recommend more authors just to put them on your radar. I'm splitting these based on subgenre, romance subgenre. For some contemporary Asian romance authors, I have a whole bunch. First is Courtney Milan. She doesn't just write historicals, she also has some contemporaries. My favorite so far has been Hold Me. This one is an amazing enemies to lovers romance. It is also set in college. Sonali Dev has a series that is based off of Jane Austen novels. Book 1 was based off of Pride and Prejudice, and the second book, Recipe for Persuasion, is based off of Persuasion. Nisha Sharma, who originally was a YA author, she does have an adult romance series. This one is the Singh family series, and it's like a CEO billionaire type of romance. Another YA turned adult romance author is Lily Menon. I haven't read this one just yet, but I really want to. It's an enemies to lovers romance between rival dating app developers. And for some contemporaries, I have Jen Trin. She wrote the Burl Friends series. It's about a group of friends who love rock climbing. Book 3 is actually releasing on Valentine's Day, and I've got an arc. It's a friends to lovers coworker romance. For some paranormals besides Nalini Singh, the Nalini Singh. If you haven't already read a Side Changeling, you're missing out. Book 1 is Slave to Sensation. There is actually a Side Changeling read-along going on right now, so you could totally do that and this readathon. But for a recently new release, Big Bad Wolf by Sulika Snyder came out. This one is another shifter romance. For some more historicals, you should definitely check out Jeannie Lin. She writes Asian historical romances set in China, ancient China. Butterfly Swords, which was the first book in a series, that one is like a princess bodyguard kind of historical romance. I really enjoyed that one. Grace Calloway is an indie historical romance author that I haven't read yet, but she's actually on my TBR for this readathon. For some shorter reads, for some novellas, I mentioned Ruby Lang earlier. Her Uptown series, which does include House Rules, is all novellas, all shorter books. You should definitely also check out J.C. Lee, her Harlequin series. This is the Heirs of Hansel series, all about these filthy rich Korean Americans. For another paranormal Asian romance author that I want to check out is Kathy Lyons. She's also known as Jade Lee, who I have read. I've read one of Jade Lee's historicals, but she does write as Kathy Lyons for some contemporaries and paranormal romances. And since it is February and maybe you're participating in a Black Author Readathon, there are a bunch of Black romance authors who write interracial romances with Asian main characters. I know Naima Simone has one, Black Tie Billionaire. I love that cover so much. Also Talia Hibbert. I actually read Bad for the Boss last year for last year's readathon. It was great, a short and steamy novella. And Rebecca Weatherspoon has one. I'm pretty sure she has more than one, but I do mention all the titles in that blog post that I made from last year, so if you want to look them up, you can see the specific titles on that list. For my TBR, which I do have set, I have 3 books. Mostly it's 2 books and then a third for a backup. I've got The Trouble with Hating You by Sajni Patel. This one is an enemies to lovers office romance that has been recommended to me by Lisa. It is a new to me author, it's been recommended to me, and it's also a fairly recent release from 2020. The second book on my TBR fits the red on the cover, and another new to me author. It's Her Husband's Harlot by Grace Calloway. It's a marriage of convenience historical romance, and the hero, who's a merchant, he actually discovers that that he's the heir of a marquis. And the third book on my TBR is Alpha Knight by Nalini Singh. I am the worst Nalini Singh fan because I still haven't read this one yet. It's her latest release, the latest book in the Side Changeling Trinity series. My friend is actually reading it right now and I am feeling very jealous, so I may or may not bump this one up and read it a little bit early. I just love the Side Changeling world so much. So that is my TBR and some recommendations for you guys. Hopefully you'll join me and Lisa in reading some Asian romances and Asian romance authors next weekend. I'm also so excited to watch the last To All the Boys movie on Netflix. I love the first two, though the second one was a little bit frustrating, but I am excited to talk about that as well during the live show. Let me know if you guys are planning to join in, and hopefully if you do, you find a new romance author to love. Also be sure to check out Lisa's video because she has her own recommendations there. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all next time. Bye!